Welcome back to Garden Talk. Thank you for sticking with me over these past 5 weeks. Today is our kind of wrap-up, our wrap-up session, wrap-up garden talk, all that stuff. So I'm out here in my garden once again, and I wanted to start off today just by reading through John 15 again. That's how we began this whole thing, and I think that's how we should end it. Just reading through the verses and as a reminder to meditate on them and to continue to read them and try to glean wisdom from them. So, John 15, 1 through 8. I am the true vine and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. Some powerful verses, huh? So I wanted to just kind of recap some of the things that we've talked about that have been the most encouraging to me, the most, freedom-giving, life-giving lessons that I've learned through the study of Remain. And, I've mentioned them before, but it's always good to repeat. Jesus repeated some of the same things over and over in even this short little passage, because repetition is really a good key to remembering and walking it out. So one of my favorite things, or one of my favorite lessons really, is about fruit not being intended for the branch. I just think it's so easy to get wrapped up in our results and wrapped up just having that craving for fruit, like, oh, I want to see the good, I want to see the good, I want to see the good, to feel like our efforts are not in vain. But a branch is not supposed to eat the fruit that it bears. Fruit really is for the gardener. And our focus should always be instead on our connection to the vine. And when we stay connected to the vine, when we have a really strong relationship with Jesus and a strong connection to him, and have immersed ourselves in him, then his nature flowing through us will produce fruit. It's good for us to notice when we are fruitful. It's good for us to recognize and give God the glory for the work he's doing in and through us, but our focus should not be on that fruit. Our focus should be on remaining in Jesus, just in everything and every day. So for me, that's a really powerful thing, because I get discouraged when I don't see the results I want, or I don't feel like what I'm doing matters, or I just think that I'm running around like a crazy person, even though I know I'm being obedient. But if I don't see the results that I wanted, then I can have doubts sometimes. So just remembering that regardless of the results, God is in control. He is to be glorified, and that should be my focus. Another lesson that stood out to me was how we can be in the world and not of the world, and how the things that are eating at us are because they're permitted. Like we can be surrounded by terrible things. We can be surrounded by discouragement and people talking badly about us. But that does not mean that we have to suffer because of it. And just like the plants, they can be surrounded by moths and butterflies, but it's the caterpillars that are deposited by those. So, as you can probably hear, it's raining, and I had to take a pause and, shut the shed and do some things, because when I was talking, all of a sudden this wind came and brought a storm in, and the wind, it knocked my phone down when I'm trying to record this video and all that, and I had to go. I got caught in the rain a little bit, and as I was kind of contemplating, just like, okay, Lord, your timing, I don't get it. Because it's been a battle to get these last videos done. It has been a battle of trying to find the opportunities. And so today I was dealing with a fevered 12-year-old, and just all the normal life stuff too, laundry, feeding kids, and then now my 3-year-old has a fever. I mean, very mild. I'm not super concerned, just some sort of little mild virus. But so I've been trying to fight for these opportunities to do this video, and the one that I did last night about as already clean as an ask. That one was really difficult to get to as well, even to the point of I was locked out of my house when I tried to record it the first time. I was going home. I knew I would have the opportunity to sit down and record it without interruption, and I get home and I'm like, I don't have a house key. So just little things like that. But anyway, I don't want to get too rambly. So with this one, I was inside a moment ago and been like, Lord, what's with your timing? I'm ready to serve you. And then now there's this storm. But honestly, how relatable and applicable that is to our lives. We get to the point where we're like, okay, God, I'm ready to serve you. I'm ready to do things for your name and your glory and serve your kingdom and all this. And then a storm comes. Not necessarily a literal storm, but I had an experience like that where I just really felt like God was about to start using me in big ways. And then that very day, I got rear-ended and got a concussion and concussion complications. And I was just like, Lord, thought you were going to use me. Like, what's going on? Why does this happen when I'm trying to walk in your will and serve you? And so when I was inside a moment ago, I was thinking about storms and how perfect the illustration actually is for today, because we've been talking about remaining in Jesus. We've been talking how we're the branches, He is the vine. And after a big storm, I'm sure like in your yard or in your neighborhood or wherever you live, after a big storm, you notice all these branches that are on the ground, or broken off and barely hanging onto the trees. Because even as Christians, we have a tendency to get discouraged and give up in a storm. But if we have our connection to Jesus strong in the everyday, in the day-to-day, in the good times, then when those storms come in life, we will still remain connected to Him. We will still, have that strong and firm connection to Him, and we won't be as likely to just snap off or break away because we get upset or angry or frustrated. And so how important it is to remain in Jesus. And that's what I was doing a few minutes ago, between the first part of this video and now, is like, okay, Lord, I don't get the timing, I don't get everything that's going on, but I can still worship you right now. I can still honor you right now. And so I just kind of put on a little worship song in my head, and then he kind of showed me how, what, maybe this storm isn't a distraction or a delay. Maybe I should be serving him and doing what I'm supposed to be doing in the midst of the storm, in the midst of the rain, in the midst of the less than ideal weather. I'm getting a little chilly out here, and it's okay. It's okay to keep going in the midst of the storm, and it's so important to continue to remain in Jesus. So I think that I've been learning that a lot over this past year, and through this study, and just understanding that remaining in Jesus doesn't mean that our lives are just going to be smooth and easy and wonderful, but we will remain steadfast in Jesus if we are continually evaluating our connection to him and making sure that it is healthy and strong, and just bringing him with us everywhere we go. That's really how we can survive all the craziness, because honestly, we have so little control over what goes on in our lives. We might think we do, and we might have control over certain decisions or whatever, but there's so many other factors constantly thrown at us that we need to have that firm foundation in Jesus, so that no matter what life brings, no matter what God allows, no matter what God ordains, no matter what the enemy tries, we can remain in Jesus, and we can bear much fruit. And I hope that encourages y'all to some extent. I know I've learned a lot through just the gardening example and metaphor that Jesus uses, because it's so tangible and practical. It makes a very abstract and obscure concept something that I can understand, at least to an extent, at least to the point where I can remember to remain in Jesus and have an attitude that is focused on honoring and glorifying him, even in the storms, even in the sunshine, even in difficult conversations or relationships, even in difficult just circumstances in general, illnesses, financial difficulties, all these things. I can remain in Jesus, and I can be focused on bearing much fruit for the Father's glory, because ultimately our treasures are not here on this earth. They are in heaven, and keeping that heavenly perspective will remind us to remain in Jesus, just no matter what, and against all other obstacles we may face. So I encourage you, continue to read the Word, read the Bible for yourself, meditate on the Scripture. If you come to verses that irritate you or frustrate you, well, then spend more time on them. Don't skip over them. That's another thing that I've learned through this study is, when I come across something that just kind of rubs me the wrong way, not necessarily because I think it's wrong, but because I don't understand it and that bothers me, then I spend more time on it. I pray more about it. I say, okay, God, show me why did you say this? Give me some sort of insider wisdom. In James, I think it's even James 1:1. Maybe it's not James 1:1, but anyway, it's in James 1, where he says, if any of you lack wisdom, he should ask God, who gives generously to all, and it will be given to him. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt. So have confidence when you ask God. Have confidence that he will answer and give you the wisdom that you're seeking after. And Jesus' words are filled with wisdom on so many, there's the surface level wisdom, and then depth and depth and depth. And I feel like with this study, we've just merely scratched the surface. So I can't wait to hear any other testimonies of what you have come to realize through Jesus' words. So thank you for visiting me in my garden.